I was recently interviewed by the legendary Graham McGregor on how businesses can use AI to make more money. If you want practical, proven ways to improve your bottom line with AI, watch this interview.
Hello, I'm Graham McGregor, and this edition of Weekly Business Wisdom, it's my great pleasure to be talking to AI expert David Kattick. David, welcome.
Hi Graham, how are you?
Very well, thanks. Could you give our audience just a bit of your business background so they know kind of what you were doing before you got into AI?
Well, I'll give you the Reader's Digest version of it. I've spent nearly 30 years in corporate. So I was the Chief Marketing Officer for Ford in Australia and for the Shell brand in Australia through a company called Viva Energy. And so I spent many years as Chief Marketing Officer with a very big budget. But one of the things I was really frustrated on is that there weren't many good agencies on digital who could practically use digital to generate a profit. And so I got to the point in my career, I thought I was really passionate about digital. And I said, why don't I start my own agency doing this? So that was it. So after 30-year corporate career, I said, that's it. I'm starting my own business and started my own digital agency. And really what I'm about is there's a million things you can do on digital. Absolutely, it's just too much that you could do with digital, but every business has to prioritize. And so what I'm passionate about is tailoring good digital advice to a business so that they do the things that that can improve their bottom line and avoid the things that are just time wasters and that can soak up budget. So I always say I'm here to help businesses grow with digital and to use the right parts of digital to make more money.
Okay. So when you say digital, do you mean things like just social media marketing, or do you mean AI? Do you mean a whole range of things?
Right across the rate. Because I had such big budgets when I was at Ford and Shell. I've got lots of data-driven experience about what parts work and what parts don't with the digital marketing mix. So Facebook ads, Google ads, websites, landing pages, social media marketing, and AI has come along in the last couple of years. So really across the broad spectrum, but really at the moment I'm very focused on AI and websites connected to that, but AI just because it's such an incredible profit opportunity for businesses and there's some really easy ways when I start working with a client that you can launch some things to generate better profits for those clients really quickly
Okay. Well, let's
using
look at
AI.
that. So we look at AI, but you tie AI in with social media marketing at the same time. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, yes, but there's even simpler ways.
Even simpler way. Okay. Well,
That-
just give us a couple of simple ways over just a quick overview of a couple of simple ways that a business could use AI to improve their profits. And then we'll
yeah.
look at some specific examples after you've given me two or three of
Yeah.
these.
So there's some things that there's lots of ways, but there's three or four ways that I go to because whenever I start working with a client, I want to get them a quick result, right?
Exactly.
And so there's 3 to 5 ways, depending on their business, that are really good and very effective. And just to give you and your listeners a framework, I break up how you use AI into two very broad categories, just to make this really simple for clients, right? The first one is using AI to generate more revenue, and the second one is using AI to cut costs,
Okay.
right? And
Sure.
then overarching one is using AI in both of those to get a better customer experience, which I'm really passionate about, right? So let's start with the revenue piece, how we can use AI to generate more revenue. And there's the first key way that usually is very effective for most businesses is a really interesting stat on your website is that for the average business, 55% of the traffic to their website happens outside work hours, right? So someone might come to your website and they might say, this is interesting, or they've got questions. If it's during the day, they might pick up the phone and call you. But if it's outside work hours, they're like, do I really want to search through hundreds of pages on a website looking for my answer? There's no one to call or can't fill out a form. And if it's 10 o'clock at night, they just give up, right? And if you think about it, as a business, you spend so much time and effort to get people to come to your website. It's almost a crime if half of those people, it's outside work hours and you can't service their needs or answer their questions, right? So
Mhm.
one of the first things I like to do when I work with a client is we launch a website chat, AI chat. And the purpose of the AI chat is to answer people's questions, right? Now, some business owners say, well, hang on, why do I need that? Because the answer is on my website. And that's true. A good website will have the answer that people will answer the questions that people have. But what we find is that when people get to your website, there's a wonderful piece of research that shows that they'll give you 15 seconds of their time to get the answer to their question. They don't want to pour through lots of pages, particularly if they're on their mobile phone. They just want the answer to their question. And that's where an AI chatbot in the bottom right-hand corner, but a smart AI chatbot that's trained on your business can actually answer questions, right? So as an example, I've got a software company and people come to their website and they've got questions in their mind like, does your software connect with Xero? Does it connect with something else? Does it do has it got various features? And absolutely their website answers those questions, but you need to go through some pages to get it. I built a chatbot for them, sits in the bottom right-hand corner, and people get on, they click the button, they ask the chatbot a question like, does this software connect with accounting software? Does it have features A, B, C, and D? And the bot answers it. And at the end of the conversation, the bot has answered the client's question. And then it says, well, you can either click and book a demo here, or I can take your name and phone number. We can get the sales team to give you a call. And what we find is the bot has moved someone from a cold lead to a warmer lead because the bot's had a really good interaction and answered their questions at 4 a.m. in the morning or 11:30 at night. So the real big message for business owners is go look at your Google Analytics, talk to your agency, find out what percentage of your website traffic happens outside work hours. And I absolutely guarantee, because every single client we do this, when you build an AI bot that answers questions and then tries to get a name and phone number of people, you generate more leads from your website outside work hours because someone's simply there to answer the client's questions. So it's all, and this is, as I said, all about under the category of generating more revenue. This is a bot that's trained on your business that answers questions, then takes a name and phone number or whatever customer journey you want and generates a lead for your business. And as I say, if you spend all this time and effort to get people to come to your website, you're just simply missing half the traffic at night or outside work hours for people who can't answer, who can't get the answer to the question or don't want to spend 40 minutes on your website trawling through trying to find the thing that they want.
It makes sense, but perfect, very logical. And if you've got half the clients at the moment, it's a bit like, I guess, telephone answering machines many years ago. People, I'm one of them, don't like to leave a message on voicemail, telephone answering machine,
Yep.
but if it's connected through to a live operator, which you had, you could have hire people to do that for you, suddenly you had 2, 3, 4 times as many calls that actually people were happy to talk to someone and give their details and then book in whatever. So same principle, I guess.
Yeah, and the other really important part, and this is something really important I like to tell business owners, is different people like to interact with you differently. So what I mean by that is there's some people who are just like, I just want to physically talk to someone. Where's the phone number for the business? And I'm going to call them, right? And they tend to be older style people. There's other people at the other end of the spectrum who are just like, I don't want to talk to anyone. I haven't got time. I just want the answers to my question, right? And then there's other people who go, I'm happy to fill out a contact us form, get someone to call me when they can, and life's good. So as a business owner, your job is not to judge which is the best way for someone to interact with you. Your job as a business owner is to give multiple options so that however you're predisposed to communicating with someone, you've got that option. So if I want to make a call, I can make a call. If I want to talk to a chatbot, I can talk to a chatbot. If I want to fill out a contact us form, I can fill out a contact us form. So if you think of it like that, then you're not missing out a whole group of people who want to interact in a certain way. Like, for example, they don't want to talk to a human. It's 10:30 at night. I just want someone to answer my questions and give me answers really quickly, right? So it's your job as a business owner to sort of ask yourself, am I giving those range of options for someone to interact with my business? Because if you're not, you could be cutting off a significant portion of leads for your business. And as I said, it's a bit of a tragedy when you spend all this money trying to get people to your website and there's a 20, 30, 40% of them that you're just letting go.
Yeah, makes sense. Perfect. Makes sense. So, by the way, how long does it take to train a bot or create a bot to do something like that?
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, it's a bit like how long is a bit of string because it depends on the business, I'm sure. But is it something that takes a month, a week, a day?
So again, I hate using the word depends, but really depends on how big the information is. But usually we can get bots up and running in 2 to 3 weeks, four
Okay.
weeks, depending. Obviously, the more complex, the longer it takes.
Yeah.
But 2 to 4 weeks is a pretty good guide on how long it takes to get that going. And as I said, it's all about improving conversions.
Yeah. And of course, by the time once it's set up, it's a bit like improving something on your landing page where instead of getting 5 people taking action, you got 10 people taking action. It keeps working over and over and over and over again.
And that's the thing. I always joke. Bots don't take bathroom breaks. They don't take annual leave. They don't take sick days. They don't have a bad day at the office.
They're not grumpy.
they don't get called into team meetings. They just work 24/7. And just as long as you do a really good job training them and giving them a good step-by-step process, and I can talk about that later if you want. They'll perform really, really well. And the other day, I was talking to a client. We launched a new bot, and their sales team said to me, "Look, we hate to admit it, but the bot provides better answers than we do." Right? And that was just like, and the thing they loved about it is the sales team now were spending less time on those very early in the sales process and more time on people who were at the pointy end of conversion because the bot was handling the early question stuff.
Yeah.
Like, is it connected to invoicing? Can I do Zero? All that sort of stuff.
Okay, that makes sense. So one of the first things you can do is to increase revenues. That's a great example of how you can do that. Do you have another great example of how to improve revenues, or should we look at how to cut costs?
Yeah. So tied into a little bit about what I was saying. And this is another area I'm really passionate about. Most businesses make the mistake of sending all leads, regardless of the quality of that lead, through to their sales team, right? And the tragedy of that is having your best salesperson working with a lead that's months and months off buying or sort of very cold, right? You've just wasted that very high performing salesperson's time. And if you talk to any business person, they say, if the world was perfect, I would only want my best salespeople talking to the best leads, right? That's kind of logical, right? Using bots to filter leads is just incredible. So what we find is when you train a bot appropriately, when a lead comes in, you get the bot to ask the right questions and engage in a really good conversation. Through that conversation, you can work out, is that lead a good lead or a bad lead? So if you're a mortgage broker, for example, if someone has been bankrupt 15 times, there's no way you can get them a deal. It's just impossible to get them a loan because they've been bankrupt 15 times, right? But if you're a broker, if you spend half an hour with that person and then eventually discover they've been bankrupt 15 times, you've just lost 15 minutes of half an hour of your life, right? So a bot is really good at, trained appropriately, at asking questions and filtering those leads. And so if you find out that they've been bankrupt 15 times, don't send that lead through to your sales team. Give them some other options like, hey, here's an article on how to improve your credit rating, right? Rather than sending them through the sales team, which is what most people do. If through the conversation, they're a really good client, they've got lots of good income, they want to borrow a lot of money, they've got good credit rating, all that sort of stuff, send that one through to your best salesperson to close the deal, right? So this notion of using AI bots to warm leads from cold to warm or hot, but also filtering them so that you're not wasting time on deals that can't get done. And that's the killer of any business that's trying to be efficient. Now, most business people, because they want to grow their business, what they do is to deal with this low quality leadership, they just hire more people, right? Because it's the only way you're going to grow is just hire more people. Well, what if you used AI to get rid of the poor leads, and then with the same amount of people, they did more because they were just focusing on good leads. So using AI to warm and filter leads is just incredibly important. And it's the key to scale. And scale is not a word that's used, is not a topic talked much in business, but it's hard to scale your business if your only solution to every problem is to hire more people, right? You've got to work out how you can do that efficiently. And AI is one of the ways that can help you scale efficiently.
Okay, that sounds great. So what's an example of how you use AI in a business to cut costs? Because obviously every dollar you save in costs, that's a dollar extra profit you make.
Yeah, absolutely. And this area I'm really passionate about because there's some really good low-hanging fruit. So I'll give you an example. I've got a client who's got about 100 tradies, right? Yeah, in their business, so quite a substantial business. And those guys, they go fill out a piece of paper because it's just when they're on site, it's practical to fill out a paper form. They can't do it with a smartphone because of the environment, right?
Yeah.
And they fill out this form by paper. They then take a screenshot of it and then they send it to their virtual assistants in the Philippines, who then rekey the form into their system, right? So highly efficient. So what you can do in that situation is have the tradie do the form manually with a piece of paper, take a screenshot, but then get AI to scan the screenshot, suck out the data that you want, and then input it directly into your system, right? So you're using AI. AI has got amazing vision capabilities to be able to look at an image or a document or whatever, a PDF, and extract various pieces of information from it, and then upload it into whatever, right? And then filter it, a good lead, bad lead, whatever you really want to do. So rather than having a whole team of VAs in the Philippines, manually rekeying, or worse, having an admin team in Australia do that at great expense, right? Take all of that low value work and just automate it, right? And these are the things that can dramatically not only reduce costs because you're not paying for a VA, you're just getting the AI to do it, but dramatically improve speed, right? So as soon as you send that picture of that form to AI, 30 seconds later, it's in your system. You don't have to wait for the VAs to come in for their next shift and rekeying errors, all that sort of stuff. It happens instantly. So there's this whole opportunity. And the way I challenge business owners on this is I want you to go and think about the lowest value tasks that your admin team or your people do in your business, right? What are the lowest tasks? And every business has them, where you've got your best salesperson or your best people in your business spend 20% of their time rekeying information, filing information, doing some stuff that is just not what you want your people to do. You want your best people focusing on the best revenue and profit items, not this tedious sort of stuff. Find out those things, and then think about, well, how can I automate it? How can I use AI to take over this task, right? And if you can do this, and if you can identify these things, you'll not only get all those benefits of efficiency, where things are happening faster, it's more accurate, instantly, all that sort of stuff. You'll also free up really good people to do more of what they love, and that's selling more, right? So when you get rid of 20% of a salesperson's admin, they'll love you forever because they can do more selling. And often that's what they love. They love talking to people, not doing rekeying admin, right? So this idea, the first step in this process to give your audience a framework is step one: go find out all the boring stuff that your people do in the business, the low-hanging fruit. Don't focus on the super complex stuff, right? And that's the trap a lot of business owners make. They get caught up in the really difficult stuff and they ignore the really simple stuff. right? The stuff that's 20, 30, 40% of some of you people's time, you could just automate and take away. So think about that. Think about what you could, what those items are, what the process is, then how we can use AI to automate them. And if you do that, you'll be quite surprised at how you can quickly make some really big efficiency gains. And as I said, the key factor here is don't get hung up on the very oddball scenario that you occasionally get, and don't let that oddball scenario stop your whole automation process, right? Let that oddball scenario happen, and when it happens, we'll manually deal with it, right? Focus on just the common repetitive stuff that we can just take away. And as I said, if you could get rid of 20, 30, 40% of that out of your business, it's just game changing for businesses. So that's one of my very favorite ones, because every business has got some really boring admin that you can just eliminate and make everyone happy. The business owner makes more profit. The people who enjoys doing boring work today, right? No one does. So it's kind of one of those ones where everyone is a winner. More profit, happier employees, life's good. So that's one of my favorite sort of go-to ones. And every business has got something that can fall into that category that you can use AI to extract data, input it in systems, and make it more efficient.
Yeah, I think I had a good example of that recently. I was chatting to a friend of mine who owns a large property management company. So he manages rental properties. And he said every owner of that, of all the properties, they get a water bill once a month from the local council. And that water bill then has to be charged to the tenant, if you like. So it means it's sent by email, that has to be looked at. Then it has to be put into an email and sent to each individual landlord to say, look, you owe this amount of money or whatever. And then he said, it takes time to open up that email and then do this and do that. Well, I found with AI, we can set it up so we can get it all done. The bill comes in, AI does it, sends the email out to the landlord, whatever's needed. It's all done in seconds, and it saves us dozens and dozens of hours of our time every month.
Yeah,
That's what you're talking about, isn't it?
that's a brilliant example of, a water bill that's a standard format.
Yep,
You can
comes in
train
every
AI.
month.
Yeah, it comes in every month. You can train AI like that. That's the sort of idea that gets me excited, because you just know a little bit of work, we can set it up and it'll just work flawlessly. And everyone's happy, because I bet the person in that real estate business who does the processing, they're losing the will to live doing all those things every month, right?
Yeah, and there's 700 of them to be done, so there's quite a few.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that again, that's another brilliant example of using AI to cut costs.
Okay. The third thing you mentioned about using AI in a business to get us unfair sales advantage was to give a person a better customer experience.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So this is
talk us through a couple of ideas and how we could do that.
yeah. So this is another one that again, super passionate about. So one of for many businesses, customer support is absolutely fundamental. I'm stating the obvious, right? But it can also be quite tedious, and you need some really good people in your customer support that handle it appropriately, right? The exercise I use with clients on this is, first thing I do is I go, right, let's list out the top 20 questions that your customer support team gets asked, right? So you list them out. And invariably what I find is about 2/3, 60, 70% of those questions are just automatic, are just rote questions, right? Are just stock standard questions. So are you open on Sundays? What time do you close? Do you have a store in suburb X? Just stock standard stuff, right? And if you think about it, you're hiring a human to answer this stuff that is just like, are you open on Sundays? Yes, we are, right? To give that answer. It's kind of, but that's the reality of customer support, is they're the questions people ask, right? So if you have about, anything more than 30% of questions that you get asked are kind of just these simple questions, right? You can automate them, right? So you can build an AI chatbot that sits on a website and just answers those questions, right? And if the question gets too hard, then you send it through to a human, right? If it's easy, like, do you have a store in suburb X? Well, a bot can eat that question up all day long, right? That's an easy question for a bot to do, right? So what you're doing is you're filtering out the easy questions and getting the bot to answer those customer support questions instantaneously, and you're filtering the harder questions through the customer support team. So we create a bot that is a filter point, as I said, just to summarize that, we create a bot to filter point. The easy questions it answers, the harder questions it sends through to a sales team, right? The effect on that is there's a couple of really important effects for everyone to understand. The first one is customers don't care who answers their problem. They just care that they get an answer to their problem. That's the important insight. They don't care if they talk to a bot, a voice chat, an online chat, whatever it is. I just want an answer to my problem. So if I call up saying, do you have a store in suburb X? If the bot gives me the answer, I'm happy. I've got the solution to my problem and I've got it instantly, right? Rather than having to wait on hold for 30 minutes to then find out, do you have a store in suburb X, right? So you improve customer satisfaction because you're giving people the answers to their questions instantly and 24/7, right? They have at 11:30 at night, if they've got a question, they have to wait till the next day. The bot gives them the answer. The second part of it is you don't need as many people on customer support, because if you get rid of typically 50% of the questions via the bot and only the hard questions are left, you don't need a customer support team of 10, you only need 5, right? Or less, right? So the impact of a customer support bot, I call them customer support bots, is quite extraordinary, right? And when I was at Shell or Viva Energy, I had 150 people in my call center. That was pre-AI. You could just make a dramatic improvement with that, get better outcomes for clients, and get dramatic improvement for the business by using AI to take over the easier questions rather than do the hard questions. And as I said, the error state for most business people is they go, oh, the customer support bot sounds great, but occasionally I get an elephant with pink polka dots and a blue tutu come in. We'll never train an AI bot to handle that. We can't do AI, right? And I say, no, don't think of it like that. We want to get rid of the low-hanging fruit with AI and use the harder stuff, that send that through to your team. And that's usually the aha moment for business owners, is they go, you're right, I was thinking about AI solving everything, but actually you're right. If I can just get rid of half of this stuff, I'm so far ahead it doesn't matter, right? And it just gets their mind spinning and totally changes the way they think about it. So that's something I really encourage people to do, is don't think about solving world poverty. Think about solving the really easy problems that you'll find if you actually go into your business. They're not the 1% of your whole business problem. They're actually 20, 30, 50, 60% of the stuff that you get asked.
That makes sense. So that gives us a better customer experience, and also has the benefit you can save money on customer support people.
Yeah, it's kind of another one of those ones with AI where it's just literally everyone is a winner. Customers are happy, the business is happy. It really is a no-brainer. You've got to think about how you execute properly, because again, it's not just a matter of connect the business to AI and life's good. You've got to do a really good job training and setting the bot up and how you want it to behave and all that sort of stuff. But once you've got it, it's wonderful. I find owners get a real good kick out of watching the conversations. They go, wow, the bots handled this really well, and they did it at 1:30 a.m. in the morning when I was sleeping, and they see the light, basically. They get the theory, but when you actually see real world conversations and customers, we often get customers at the end of the chat say, oh, thank you so much, you've been so helpful. They don't know that they're talking to a bot. Even though the bot happily declares it, the bots, you can train bots to be very personable and very friendly and even tell dad jokes and all that sort of stuff. It's a good experience for everyone.
Makes sense. Tell me, just for a couple of moments, like anything, any new improved technology or thing you can use in your business, there's often mistakes that people can make. So just run us through very quickly. What are two or three very common mistakes people make with AI in business?
Yeah. So as I was just saying, a lot of people just think, oh, I just connect up AI to my business and it kind of works. I always say when you go into the world of AI and you're kind of like hiring an employee with AI, an AI employee, right? And I always say to business owners, when you bring AI into your business, if you brought in a new human to your business, you would do two things for them. The first thing you would do is you would give them knowledge about your business. So let's say you were running a McDonald's and you hired a new employee to work on the drive-through, to give you a crazy example, right? You would do two things to make that employee at the drive-through window effective. The first thing you do is you give them knowledge about your products. So what burgers do we sell? We sell fries, we sell drinks. You give them knowledge, right? The second thing you do is you'd say, right, now you've got the knowledge, I'm going to give you the step-by-step process I want you to handle. So when someone drives up to the drive-through window, I want you to say, hi, welcome to McDonald's. Can I take your order? Then if they say, I'd like a Big Mac, I want you to say, well, would you like fries with that? Would you like a Coke with that? Do you want a dessert? You give them the step-by-step process. Then at the end, I want you to tell them how much it's going to cost. Then I want you to take their money. Right? So you're giving them knowledge and now a process, right? So the really important thing with AI is you have to do a good job of training the AI with those two things. If you don't, you will get poor results. So we often get clients who are super excited about AI, but they've had an experience where they go, oh, we tried it and it didn't work. And invariably the issue is not AI, it's just you gave it bad information. Just like if you hired a new employee and you didn't tell it what burgers you sell, that new employee would do a very bad job because they don't know what the products are. So spend some time training your AI and really thinking through how we can give it the knowledge it needs to do the job properly. And just that little bit of investment up front in time will yield incredible results going forward. And as I said, and maybe I'll give you two tips rather than just the one. Is as I said, is don't try and boil the ocean with AI. Look for a quick win, like some of the ideas I just told you. Don't try and do everything in your business all at once, right? Pick one. Some of those ideas that I've gone through today, they're ones that work. They either generate more revenue or cut costs, and they work. I've not launched a bot in a business that hasn't worked like that, right? So they work, but don't try and do everything all at once. You can get very excited about AI and want to, rush off and do it, and that's awesome. But just pick a low-hanging fruit in your business where there's just some horrible inefficiency and there's people rekeying stuff. Let's just go knock that over and get a win, and then you can spread on to whatever other idea kind of works for you. If you have that, just eat the elephant in little bits. You'll be quite surprised at how your business gets on, and not only do you as a business owner get excited, but your employees get excited and they want to go, well, geez, that worked really well there. Your employees will start saying, we could use AI. What about over here? There's this other thing. And so it builds on itself. So go for a low-hanging fruit quick win, and then you'll just find it builds momentum in your business from there.
Excellent. So how do people find out more about your services and what you do? Where do they go?
So go to digitalgrowthgenius.com, just .com. So digitalgrowthgenius, one word.com, and you can talk to my bot or fill out a contact us form or call me, whatever suits. As I said, my job is to give people options to play, to talk to me, not dictate. But go to my website and happy to have a chat. And you can book a free 30-minute call with me, no obligation or anything. Because sometimes just kicking around, what I find with business owners is they know it can work in their head. They just need to have a bit of a chat to crystallize some of those ideas. And as I said, one of the things I'm really passionate about is steering people in the right direction. Because I do get business owners come to me and say, I've got this idea and it's really good. sort of go, nah, it's not that. That's not where you want to play. You want to play over here, and they really appreciate that bit of advice and steering in the right direction to get the best result. So that's just a free 30-minute session with me where you can just pick my brain and no obligation at all.
Yeah, that sounds like a great idea because they can say, well, I've got this type of business. How would I use AI? And you say, well, look, to use it, you could probably use it here this way to increase revenues, over here to reduce costs. Two ideas here you could use to get a better customer experience, and then get some thinking. And because you've worked obviously with a lot of companies, you can give them that advice, and it's free and without obligation. So they've kind of got nothing to lose by talking to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's just have a chat, and if I can't help, I'll happily tell you because I like to get a result for clients, not just take the money and then not get a result. That's a terrible way
Yeah.
to.
So the
Um,
big message I'm getting here, David, so far from you is, excuse me, is look for small things you can do, like quick wins, low-hanging fruit.
yep.
Don't try and make it too complicated.
Absolutely. So think about those ideas I gave you: website chatbot, warming up leads, customer support chatbot, or an automation AI bot. Just those four areas. I'm yet to find a business that hasn't been able to grab one of those ideas and actually get some real, tangible, profitable results from it. And as I said, once you have one good success with AI, your business kind of starts to go, wow, this is addictive. How about we do it over here and here? And you build from there. So that's definitely the way to go.
Excellent. Hey, one more question. You've had quite an interesting background because you've been in a corporate for many, many, many years, and you've had large amounts of money and large amounts of people that could help you do
Yeah.
these things. And now you've got your own business. Imagine you're hopping on a plane in 2 minutes. I say, David, just before you hop on that plane, what's one more bit of advice you give to business owners in general about what they can do to be far more successful? Apart from what we've covered today, what one more bit of advice comes to mind?
Yeah, so look, there's lots, but the big tests I give business owners is if most business owners want to grow, right? What they don't think through is the challenge of scale, right? So if you are certain size today with 50 employees, don't think if I want to 5x my business, I need to have 250 employees. How the challenge with growing a business is scale. It's the big, and I'm actually so surprised that there's not much discussion in the world about the challenge of scale, right? And when I say that is, how can you scale efficiently, not just using AI, there's lots of other tools. If you're going to grow your business, don't just think I'm just going to 5x the employees to get 5x the revenue. How can I 5x or 10x my business with only 20% more employees? That's a real big challenge that really usually makes business owners go, yeah, that's really interesting. I need to think about that. What's my model to scale efficiently? Because if you can work that out, the profit multiplier of the revenue, if you 5x your revenue and your costs only go up 20%, well,
That's
life's
huge.
life's really good. So the challenge of scale is real. It's not spoken about and it's not thought about much by business owners, but it's the first place you got to start as you're thinking to grow. Is like, well, how this growth, where is it going to come from? And then how's my business going to look if I 5x it or 10x it? And how can I make it look different?
That sounds great. Well, David, thank you very much for the helpful ideas you've given us today. I've learnt some ideas myself on AI that I hadn't heard before, which is very helpful. Thank you very much for that.
No worries. Pleasure to have a chat.